welcome back. I am the Lincoln Lawyer, and I think I'm going to keep my name secret for a while, maybe in the future, or maybe I'll get doxxed, who knows, we'll see. Hope you like my new lighting situation right here. I told you we are a work in progress. I don't have a team, I don't have an editor, just doing this all on my own because I like to hear myself talk. Okay, so this is a video. It must be the first video that needs to be made. I want to get this out of the way so I don't have to do another video on this again. Basically, this impeachment situation is dominating all our discourse, and I want to provide a historical perspective on it, just to make it clear that we're not the first ones to be in this situation. And so basically, I'm not going to get into the Clinton situation. That was a matter of opinion. Yes, undoubtedly, unequivocally, crimes were committed, but one side will argue that they should have caused Clinton's removal, and the other side will say that the crimes were committed to protect the office of the president and the president from embarrassment, to protect the country from embarrassment. Which is a reasonable argument, and it's kind of a toss-up if Clinton should have been removed or even impeached. It was more of a political situation, so we're not going to get into that. As far as scandal on a 1 to 10, the Clinton situation was probably 5 to 6. Okay, so the Ukrainian thing, I would say maybe 2 or 3 at best. Okay, Trump is not going to be removed. He is going to stay in office. This scandal, quote unquote, is extremely minor, historically speaking. Okay, so I'm not going to take sides. I'm not taking any sides. There are plenty of people to take sides, to attack or defend Trump. Okay, what I'm going to provide is a minor historical analysis here. What we're going to talk about briefly are a couple of historical scandals that affected the presidency, and every administration has scandals. Okay, so going back to Reagan, okay, if you're not familiar with it, this is called the Iran-Contra scandal. Okay, very basically, members of Reagan's cabinet decided to provide weapons to Iran, to the Ayatollahs after the Islamic Revolution, ostensibly in exchange for hostages that were being held in Lebanon, but we're not really clear if that is indeed what the backstory was. The Iran-Iraq war was going on at that time, and we were certainly supplying Iraq. And so we probably wanted to keep that war going for as long as possible also. And then there was the thing with keeping Iran out of Russia's hands, which eventually did happen, actually. So what happened was arms were actually sent from Israel to Iran, and then the money went to Israel and back to the U.S., and money went to buy guns in the U.S., and it was shipped to Nicaragua. The Contras, the anti-communist Contras over there, received the weapons and training. Okay, so if you saw the movie American Made with Tom Cruise, he played Barry Seal, a notorious drug smuggler who flew probably hundreds of tons on his C-30, C-300, something like that. This is a big, huge jet. So anyway, if you saw Oliver North in that movie, and you saw guns being moved to Nicaragua, and then Seal would fly to Colombia to pick up cocaine and back to the U.S., and so that was the loop, and CIA and everybody at the National Security Council knew about it and approved. So anyway, eventually it was all exposed. Now I just want to say that both of these actions, selling weapons to Iran, were in contravention of the arms embargo initiated by Carter and continued by Reagan. And then, of course, supplying the weapons to the Contras was also in contravention of American law. Okay, so there was express law prohibiting support for the Contras. So this was a very extreme scandal and violation, a blatant violation of law by the administration. There was no impeachment. No one was impeached. There were no impeachment hearings. Okay, there was no impeachment vote. And there were hearings, investigations, prolonged, and a bunch of people, about a dozen people, were indicted. Some were convicted. Some of the convictions were vacated. But in fact, no one went to prison over this whole situation. Okay, so just to give you some perspective, this scandal, which was completely in contravention of law, I would put it at an 8 or 9, okay, short of the president pulling out a gun and shooting someone or ordering someone killed because they would reveal some damaging information. Okay, so this was as extreme a scandal as you can get. Okay, so that's one, and then we can go back a little bit further to about 1920s with Warren Harding. Okay, he was generally considered one of the worst presidents in American history. He only did 4 years. And once he was elected, he was a senator before that, he appointed another senator to the Department of Interior as secretary. His name was Albert Fall, okay? And this person was very connected to the oil industry, which at that point really had all the money, all the power. They were all-knowing, all-seeing, all-doing, okay? They had just unlimited funds. And Harding was connected also to the oil guys. They gave him a lot of money. So he was pro-oil at that point. So what happened was Fall transferred control of strategic oil reserves contained in Wyoming, one of which was shaped like a Teapot dome, apparently, and another one in California. He transferred control from the Navy to the Department of Interior and promptly leased those areas for drilling to two of his buddies, to oil barons, okay, without bids. He just leased it to them for cheap, for very low return favors, okay? And of course, he took bribes. There were investigations, extensive investigations. Actually, the next president after Harding appointed a special prosecutor consisting of one Democrat and one Republican. So that was interesting, and that investigation dug up a lot of the dirt on this. What happened was Albert Fall was actually convicted, and he served less than a year. I believe it was around 9 months. He was fined about $100,000, I think, and the fine was later vacated. And he died shortly thereafter, and no one else was convicted. There were trials of the oil guys for bribery of public officials, but they couched them as loans, and so there were no convictions, and pretty much nothing happened. There was no impeachment. No talk of impeachment, no impeachment votes, nothing there, okay? So this was an extreme act of willful disregard for law and corruption, okay? And Warren Harding certainly knew about the entire process that Fall was carrying out, and we do have evidence to this effect today. So he served out his term, and he went on his way, which is Harding, okay? So this will just give you a historical perspective that scandals were rampant, and this Ukraine situation with Trump, funds were potentially withheld but released shortly thereafter, before the end of the fiscal year, which is really all that the law requires. There's no legal violation there. Appears that Trump did ask for an investigation, or at least the announcing of an investigation, and in the scale of things, it could be an impropriety, maybe improper act to ask an investigation, but as far as an impeachable offense, it's not even remotely close. And I think we've heard to this effect from many people, including in Congress. Okay, so that's about all I have to say about this, and I hope this information has been helpful. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, ring the bell. See you next time.